Ani Abhihandujabadaha. Namaste. So last week we finished all the Charita. Okay, and the last Uttama Charitam we described about the fight of Devi between Shumba Nishumba and all his followers. Now, after that, we start the 11th chapter, which is titled as Narayani Adhyayam, right? Narayani Stuti. It starts with a Dhyana Shlokam on Devi as Bala Tripura Sundari. I will read that. Om Balara Vidyutimindu Kiridam Tunga Kujam Nayanatraya Yuktam Smeramukhim Varadangushapas Abhitikaram Prabhaje Bhuvaneshwari. So Bala Tripura Sundari is worshipped as in the modern times in Bengal and all, that Kumari Puja, and which is done in many times. And in this shloka, it says she is also shining like a child sun, and she has got the kiridam, which is also shining her face. She has three eyes. She is smiling, and she has Varadahasta, Abhayahasta, Pasha, Angusha, and all. Okay, so Bala Tripura Sundari is a beautiful form, just like we all like little girls, right? Always giggling and smiling. So let us bow down to Devi as Bala Tripura Sundari. Now, the Narayani Stuti. The first 3 to 6 verses are in praise of Devi's glory, out of which I will just read one shloka, give the meaning, and then go directly to the Narayani Stuti. It goes, Tvam Vaishnavi Shaktirananda Virya Vishwasya Bijam Paramasi Maya Sammohidam Devi Samastamedad Tvam Vai Prasanna Bhuvi Mukti Hetuhu. It says, you are the power of Vishnu and you have endless valor. You are the primeval Maya, which is the source of the universe. By you, all this universe has been thrown into an illusion, O Devi. If you become gracious, you become the cause of final emancipation in this world. So, the Narayani is being described in that one shloka as a whole. So Narayani is the supreme Devi. She is the universal consciousness that inhabits all forms. She is the divine presence that permeates human beings, animals, plants, moving and unmoving entities of nature. All creations around the universe are endowed with her blessings only, and progress with her blessings only. So let us see what Narayana means, right? Narayana is actually two words together. Nara plus Ayana. Okay. Nara is human being, as we all know. Ayana means going towards something or progressing towards something. It signifies a path as well as a goal. So, Narayani is the one who leads all humanity to the ultimate goal, which is the infinite being. We all know about Arjuna and Krishna, right? They were together in previous lives as Nara and Narayana. Nara is Arjuna And Narayana is Lord Krishna, who led Arjuna to his goal in the Mahabharata story. So like that, by devoting ourselves through body, mind, intellect, and soul, the divine will lead us to the right path and towards God Himself. So let us go to the Narayani Stuti in the verses from 8 to 23. I am going to recite each verse and give the meaning. First one goes like this. Sarvasya buddhirupena janasya hridi samstite sargapavargade devi narayani namostute. Salutation to you, Devi Narayani, who abides as intelligence in the hearts of all beings, granting heavenly reward and the final liberation. Kalakashtadirupena parinama pradayini vishwasyoparadau shakte Narayani namostute. Salutations to Narayani, who brings the change as the memories of ever-passing time, who are the power at the cessation of the universe as well. Sarvamangala-mangalye Shive Sarvartha-sadhike Sharanye Trayambike Devi Narayani Namostute. Salutations to you, O Narayani, good of all good, auspicious of all auspicious. Help us to accomplish every intent. You are the refuge of all knowing. You are the shining Gauri. The next sloka. Srishtistiti vinashanam Shakti Bhude Sanatani Gunashaye Gunamaye Devi Narayani Namostude. Salutations to Narayani, who are the power of energy in creation, sustenance, and dissolution. You are eternal. You are the source of threefold energy: Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. Sharanagada Dinartha Paritranaparayane Sarvasyarthi Hare Devi Narayani Namostute. O Narayani, you are intent on rescuing the distressed, the afflicted, that take refuge in you. You remove the sufferings of all. Now the next 7 shlokas are related to the Sapta Matrika Devis. Devis sending her 7 different powers in the battle between Rakta Bija. You know, he was a magical warrior. And actually that story itself is called the Maya Yuddham. We saw that, right? How Rakta Bija multiplied one after the other when his blood dropped down. So the next shlokas, 7 shlokas describe the Sapta Matrika Devis. Hamsayukta Vimanaste Brahmani Rupatharini Kausham Bhatsharike Devi Narayani Namostute. Salutations to you, Narayani, who assumed the form of Brahmani, riding on a swan-yoked chariot and sprinkling sanctified water through Kamandalu. So Brahmani, the consort of Brahma. Trishula Chandrahithare Mahavrishabhavahini Maheshwari Surupena Narayani Namostute. Salutations to you, O Narayani, assuming the form of Maheshwari, bearing a trident, moon, serpent, and riding on a mighty bull. Mayura-kukkudavrade Mahashakti-dhare anakhe Kaumari-rupa-samstane Narayani namostute. Salutations to you, Narayani, in the form of Kaumari, the faultless one, attended by peacock, cock, and bearing a spear. That is the Shaktivel of Kumaraswami. Okay. Shankha Chakra Gada Sharga Grihida Paramayute Prasida Vaishnavi Rube Narayani Namostute. Salutations to you, Narayani, O auspicious one, as Vaishnavi, holding the supreme weapons of conch, discus, mace, and bow. Be gracious to us. Grihitogra Chakre Damshtrodhridava Sundare Varaharupini Shive Narayani Namostute. O Narayani, auspicious one, you have bore like Vishnu's form, grasping a great formidable discus and uplifting the earth with thy tusks. Nrisimharupena Ugrena Handum Daityan Kritodyame Trailokyatrana Sahide Narayani Namostute. O Devi Narayani, auspicious one, with the ferocious form of lion-like form, killing demons and protecting the three birds. That is Narasinghi. Kiridini Mahavajre Sahasranayano-jwale Vrittatrana Hare Jaindri Narayani Namostude. Salutations to Narayani, adorned with the diadem, great thunderbolt, thousand-eyed radiance to you, O Aindri, who killed the Vritrasura. Shivaduti-rupena Hadadaitya Mahabale Khorarupe Maharave Narayani Namostude. Salutations to you, Narayani, in the form of Shivaduti, who killed the mighty hosts of Daityas of terrible form and loud throat, Maharave. Actually, the story is that Shiva comes as a messenger to Devi in this context. Damstragarala-vadane Shiromala Vibhushane Chamunde Mundamadane Narayani Namostute. As Chamundi, with terrible face and tusks, and adorned with a garland of heads or skull, slayer of Munda and Chanda. Salutations to thee, O Narayani. Lakshmi Lajje Mahavidye Shraddhe Pushti Swade Dhruve Maharatri Mahamaye Narayani Namostute. Salutations to you, Narayani. You are the good fortune, Lakshmi. You are Lajja, modesty. And you are the great wisdom, Mahavidya. You are the faith, Shraddha. You are the Pushti, nourishment. And you have the Swatha. And oh, you are the immovable, great mind. And you are the great illusion. I'm sure we went through all these qualifications in the previous classes. Each one of them we have explained. मेधे सरस्वती वरे भूदि भब्रवीत् तामसी नियते त्वं प्रसीदेशे नारायणी नमोस्तुते. Salutations to you, O Narayani. You are Saraswati, Medha, and you are intelligence, embodiment of intelligence and wisdom. And you are Bhapravi, consort of Vishnu, and you are Tamasi. So here, the three nature, Trigunatmika, Saraswati, Sattvic, Lakshmi, Rajasic, and Kali as Tamasic nature, that comes in this shloka. I think with this we are finishing those shlokas which are 8 to 23. So I will read a couple more shlokas and conclude. Sarvaswarupe sarveshe sarvashakti samanvite bhayebhyastrahino devi Durge Devi Namostute. एदत्ते वदनं सौम्यं लोचनत्रयभूषितं पादुन सर्वभूतेभ्यः कात्यायनी नमोऽस्तु ते. So here the previous one Devi is called as Durge Devi, then in this as Katyayani. Then the 26th shloka is very, very powerful. Okay, it goes, it is as Bhadrakali. Okay, Jwala Karalamatyugram Ashesha Surasudanam Trishulam Paduno Bhider Bhadrakali Namostute. It says, terrible with flames, exceedingly sharp, destroyer of all asuras. May your trident guard us from fear. Salutations to Bhadrakali. So this particular shloka, we can recite to remove our tapatrayam, like our fear, all the negative qualities within us. Call on Devi to remove all those fear and everything. Everything will go, all the negative things will be removed from our life. That is what it says. So I will recite that again because I like this one very much. Jwala Karalamatyugram Asheshasurasudanam Trishulam Paduno Vider Bhadrakali Namostude. Going back, it says that the 7 divine mothers as personified, they are as personified energies of the principal deities emerging from the 7 major divinities that we said. Brahmani from Brahma, then Maheshwari from Maheshwara, then Kaumari, Kumaraswamy or Subramanya, Vaishnavi from Narayana. See, Devi herself is Vishnu's sister, right? Padmanabha Sahodari. Then Varahi from Varaha Rupa of Vishnu. Then Narasimhi from Narasimha Avatara related. Then Aindri, the Indra form. And the last, then Shivadudi. Chamundi we described in the Chandamunda Vatham, and Devi got the name Chamundi. Then 3 forms of Devi are described in the next 2 verses, Mahasaraswati, Mahalakshmi, and Mahakali. We have gone through all those different aspects of Devi. I want to conclude this with a very good description of Devi Puja by Swami Jyotirmayananda, one of the youngest disciples of the great Swami Shivananda, who is Swami Jyotirmayanda is still there. He has got a big ashram in Florida, and he has, written many books, and they are all so valuable. So in his description or commentary on Devi Mahatmyam, he says about Devi Puja. About the Devi Puja, he describes like this. The concept of Devi Puja is indeed most enchanting and captivating. The cool surrender into the arms of the divinity in the midst of raging battles of life and in the leaping tongues of the fires of adversities is the essence of sadhana or spiritual discipline that one must adopt during Devi Puja. And I added one more sentence. It is like falling into the arms of a loving mother. Thank you. But before I have few more minutes, so I'm going to ask Jyoti to do the Sapta Shloki. And just a little description about the Sapta Shloki. These are 7 chosen verses from the Devi Mahatmyam. The first one is from the first chapter. Second one is from the 4th chapter. Then the next 4 are from the 11th chapter, which I was going through. And there are 2 very powerful verses after what I have read, and it comes in the Sapta Shloki. So the story is that, as always, it says that Parvati asks a question to Lord Shiva, how can somebody read this whole Devi Mahatmyam? It is so difficult. So Shiva says that I will choose 7 shlokas for you. If you recite these 7 shlokas, it is like chanting the whole Devi Mahatmyam. As you know, Devi Mahatmyam is the Parayanam is done by lots of people during the Navaratri season, and especially in Bengal area, it is so very popular. It is known as Chandi. So today I will ask Jyoti to do the Sapta Shloki before we go into Hanuman Chalisa, and I will give the more explanation about Sapta Shloki in the next class. Okay, thank you. Okay, Jyoti.
Yes, thank you, Auntie.
Yes.
Shiva Uvacha Devi Tvam Bhakta Sulabhe Sarvakarya Vidhayini Kalau hi karya siddhyartham upayam bruhi yatnataha Devi Uvacha Shrunu Deva Pravakshyami Kalau sarveshta sadhanam Maya tavaina snehena Pyambastuti prakashyate Om Asya Sri Durga Saptashloki Stotra Mahamantrasya Narayana Rishihi Anushtup Chandaha Sri Mahakali Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswatyo Devataha Sri Jagadamba Prityartham Saptashloki Pathe Viniyogaha Jnani Namapi Chetamsi Devi Bhagavati Hisa Balada Krishya Mohaya Mahamaya prayachati Durge smruta harasi bhitimasesha jantoh Swastai smruta matimativa shubham tadasi Daridya dukkha bhayaharini katvadanya Sarvopakara karanaya sadadra chitta Sarva mangala mangalye Shive sarvardha sadhike Saranye trambake gauri Narayani namostute Sharanagata dinartha Paritrana parayane Sarvasyarti hare devi Narayani namostute Sarvaswarupe sarveshi Sarvashakti samanvite Bhayebhyastrahino devi Durge devi namostute रोगान् शेषानपहंसि तुष्टा रुष्टात् कामान् सकलानभीष्टान् त्वामाश्रितानां न विपन्नराणां त्वामाश्रिता ह्याश्रयतां प्रयाति सर्वबाधाप्रशमनं त्रैलोक्यस्याखिलेश्वरी एवमेव त्वया कार्यम् अस्मद्वैरिविनाशनम् इति श्री दुर्गा सप्तश्लोकी सम्पूर्णम्. Thank you.
Thank you, Jyoti. And now I will invite the Sukumar family to do the bhajan followed by Hanuman Chalisa.
Thank you, Shamla.
जगदोधारिणी माता दुर्गा जगदोधारिणी मां जगो जगो मां जगो जगो मां जगो जगो मां जननी जगो जगो मां जगो जगो मां जगो जगो मां जननी हे दुर्गा देवी रणचंडी देवी हे दुर्गा देवी रणचंडी देवी हे शिव रमणा जगो मां 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 जगो जगतो धारिणी मां जग जगतो धारिणी मां जगतो धारिणी माता दुर्गा जगतो धारिणी मां जगतो धारिणी माता दुर्गा जगतो धारिणी मां जगो जगो मां जगो जगो मां जगो जगो मां जननी जगो जगो मां जगो जगो मां जगो जगो मां जननी हे दुर्गा देवी रणचंडी देवी हे दुर्गा देवी रणचंडी देवी हे शिव रमणा जगो मां 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 जगो जगतो धारिणी मां जग जगतो धारिणी मां जगतो धारिणी माता दुर्गा जगतो धारिणी मां
Very nice.
अवनः मंगलहारे प्रभु सुत शरत अचर बिहारे श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी बरनो रघुबर बिमल यशु जो दायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीश तिहु लोक उजागर राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेश कानन कुंडल कुंचित केश हाथ वक्र और त्वचा पिराजे काजे मूज जने साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लक्ष्मण की सामग बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे Sanakadika Brahmadi Munisha Narada Sarada Saita Aisha Rama Kubera Dekapal Jahante Kavi Kovid Kahi Sakim Kahante Tuma Upakar Sugri Bahikina Ram Milaya Rajapad Dina Tumaro Mantra Vibhishana Mana Nankeshwar Bhaya Sab Jag Jana Jug Sahasra Jojana Parapano Diyo Tahi Madhur Palachano Prabhu Mutrika Meli Mukamai Jal Dilamri Jaya Charajanahi Durgam Kajan Datke Dete Sugamano Grah Tumare Tete Ram Dulare Tumar Kvare Hotana Apnya Binu Pesare सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा तुम रक्षक काहू को तरना आपन तेज संभारो आपे तीनों लोक हमत के कापे टूट पिशाच निनट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे मन कम भजन जान क्यों सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे छायो युग परताप तुम्हारा हे प्रसिद्ध हदत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नवनीत के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंतर काल रघुपत पुर जाई जहाँ जन्मी हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन तरई हनुमत से ही सर्व सुख करई संकट हरे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा कर गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत पार प्राप्त कर कोई छूट निबंधी महासुख कोई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होए सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा कीजे नाथ हृदय महंदेरा पवन तने संकट हरने मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लक्ष्मण सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुरभूप मंगल भवन मंगल हारे प्रभु सुत शरते अचर बिहारे
Thank you, Shamala.
Thank you, Sumita. Very nice. Okay, now we'll do the Mangala Sloka. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Thank you all. So if you have any questions, discussions, we will go to that now.
Namaste, Shamala ji. That was so nice. It was just a wonderful, pleasant, and very divine session as usual. Thank you. And it's a very fitting session for the end of the year. And thank you for taking up the Saptashloki for the beginning of year. So the next will be in 2021.
So next session, I have one more session as a conclusion in which, the Palashruti, which is done by Devi herself to Surata and Samadhi. And how the whole story concludes. And I will chant some of those things in the last class. Okay.
Beautiful. Yes. And any other questions or comments? I have read and heard Narayana meaning. Nara means knowledge also. Like
Okay.
Nara, Jivas and Pranis, and like Narada, the giver of knowledge is. So Nara, Ayana, the abode of all knowledge, the abode of all our knowledge, wisdom, and consciousness, our memory. So all that is also Narayana, and the feminine part of Narayana is Narayani. And when you talked about all these Brahmani, Indrani, Vaishnavi, so all these are the feminine Shakti, the powers of the respective gods.
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Any other questions or comments, please?
So is it the same as Brahmini means Saraswati? Do they match the same way?
Yeah, good.
Yes.
You could say, but actually, in this story, the power of Brahma comes out. It is. It's not actually Saraswati here. It is the power of Brahma comes as Brahmani and participates.
Yeah.
Mahasaraswati is the main goddess. Through the last story. The form of Mahasaraswati. So there is actually a difference. It says there is a difference between when we actually say Saraswati, Lakshmi, Parvati, and here they are represented as Mahasaraswati, Mahalakshmi, and Mahakali. So they all come from the Mahakali only. So it starts with the creation, the Prathama Charita. Starts with the creation, and the second Charita, Mahalakshmi, we call it as the Vaikritika Rahasyam, where all the divine forces from different gods like Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, and then all the other gods perfuse into Devi. And it said that it is not really their energy, it is Devi's energy only. Right? Devi's energy only coming together. So that one is called the Vaikritika Rahasya, And this last one is about the avatars. So we saw these 7 Matrika Devis come, and you can say that consort. So here, but the Brahmani doesn't mean the Saraswati as we explained. It is that force, the energy from Brahma. So Vaishnavi, the energy from the male power, from the male, it comes through the female. The power of the male comes through the female, body. So that is how it is explained. I mean, it is little hard to imagine, but that's the way it is. That's the way it is explained, in the commentaries.
So it's contextual. So go ahead. Sorry. It's contextual. Brahmani elsewhere also means Saraswati. Saraswati's other name is Brahmani. And so Vishnu Shakti as Vaishnavi. Right. But, so Lakshmi is considered as Vaishnavi too. But here, like you said, in this Uttama Charitam, the forces come from all these all these incarnations and the male gods as the feminine forces. And in the first, all these gods give their weapons. So Vishnu gives his chakra, and Shiva gives his Trishula, and so on. And then, like as you said, all these Ekai Vaham, none, all these are from me only. So Devi is saying that all the forces both coming. And if you look at Lalita Sahasranama also, so so Nakhotpanna Dashakritihi, all these Dashavataras are from the
The
fingernails,
Devi.
fingernails of Devi. So looking at from Shakti Sampradaya, so the Shangulya Nakhotpanna, the Shavataras. Thank you. So if someone was going to ask a question or comment.
No, I was just going to say, Shyamala, even though as normal human beings, we see as male and female and God and goddess, for all practical purposes, it's a one divine power with both male and female.
Mhm.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's for sure. The same power
Yeah,
coming in different ways,
And I was looking at one of the
Mm.
verses in Gita, chapter 14, verse 3. It starts with Mamayo Nirmahat Brahmam.
Right.
God is saying, my garbham, my yoni. So it is both reflecting both male and female in the same sense there.
Yeah, yeah. Mama yonir mahat brahma tasmin garbham dadhamyaham. And prakritim swamadhisthaya sambhavami atmamaya. In 4th chapter, we see that. So my prakriti, so I
Right.
will,
Right.
so incarnate myself, taking
Right.
hold of my own prakriti.
So it's
Um,
reflecting both genders right there.
Yeah. But it is like if you look at Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. So that Brahman, that supreme consciousness is one, but the wise call it in many different ways. And our Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma, has given way and equal respect to the 6 main paths, Shanmatas. Shamalaji, you can correct me. The Shanmatas